Hello there. Imagine for a moment that you could take the life of anyone on Earth. Light Yagami was given such power, and the way he used his gift has made the god of death himself recognize him as a monster. Local television in Japan reports a large number of crimes, and following that, a large number of deaths. One by one, both criminals on the loose and in cells, those on wanted lists, and those suspected of murder die. The cause of death is the same: a heart attack. The Japanese Ministry of Health puts forward the official version. All of the dead are afflicted by an unknown virus. On the internet, however, people suspect that there is a man behind all of this. He is nicknamed Kira. Some do not believe in his existence, while others consider him a symbol of justice. Yet another news bulletin reports a new crime. A desperate man driven into debt decides to rob a bank. He killed 2 employees and held 5 people hostage for several hours. The police have already identified him. A young student is watching the story live on TV. He takes out a notebook and writes the name of the robber in it. Immediately, the reporter updates the viewers on the situation. The hostages are free and leaving the bank. The criminal remains inside. He is dead. The cause of death, again, is a heart attack. The guy who wrote down the name of the criminal is Yagami Light. He goes to a university, is an excellent basketball player, dates a girl named Shiori, and wants to become a detective like his father. Light has just successfully passed yet another exam. Light and Shiori go to the cafeteria for lunch. Everyone around them is discussing the same thing: the punisher of criminals, Kira. Light is on his side. He calls Kira a god of justice, but Shiori is against it. The girl believes that criminals should be judged only by the law. Then Light tells his friend how the law works in Japan. The guy has access to the secret police department database. He logged into it to find out what punishments awaits criminals. Instead, he found that many of them won't go to jail at all, and the police, in turn, keep it a secret. By risking his life, Light convinced himself of the necessity of what he's doing. Some time ago, he tracked down a killer named Takuo. He was in a bar with friends bragging about his crimes. The thugs noticed the guy following them and started threatening him. That's when Takuo told him right to his face. As he tells the story, Light hides what happened next from his girlfriend. After he ran away from the bar, frightened and disappointed, he found a black notebook on the ground. Its cover was adorned with the title, Death Note, and inside was an instruction. The human whose name is written in this note shall die. You only need to know the name and appearance of the person. At that time, the face of yet another criminal was being aired on the news. The man killed a little girl. The guy writes his name in the notebook just to see what happens. In the morning, Light goes out for breakfast and is surprised to read in the paper that the criminal is dead. But it could be a coincidence, couldn't it? Light wants to know for sure. He carries the notebook with him and one day meets Takuo's gang again. The guy writes his name in the notebook, and the villain squirms and dies before his eyes. Light is frightened and wants to get rid of the notebook by leaving it where he picked it up. However, the god of death, a winged monster named Ryuk, is already waiting for him there. He says that he dropped the notebook and Light can see him because he touched it, but Ryuk isn't going to take the notebook back. The detectives, meanwhile, are investigating the murders. They have no evidence, and there is no connection between the victims, except that they are all criminals. The investigation involves a certain L, an Interpol expert who has solved many murders around the world. L hides his identity. The only person who can contact him is his assistant, Watery, and he delivers a message from him to the detectives. L says that these ongoing murders are planned by a genius, and that genius is Kira. What's more, he kills alone, with no accomplices. Yagami, Light's father, is appointed captain of the investigation team. The boy did not give the notebook back to the god of death. Ryuk now lives next to him and watches what the guy will do next. Light, in turn, thinks he is a god and wants to create a world without crime. Kira is now his second name, which is becoming more popular with each passing day. A breaking news broadcast is aired on television all over the world. The on-screen anchor, Lindell Taylor, is the expert investigating Kira's case. Elle calls him a childish murderer with an inflated ego and promises to catch him, whatever it takes. Light laughs, but his ego is hurt, so he writes Elle's name in the notebook. The man on screen clutches at his heart, and Light has no idea that it's exactly what they wanted him to do. The real Elle joins the broadcast. He addresses Kira and admires the fact that he can kill a man without touching him. Elle tells him that the man who died on the screen was a criminal sentenced to death, and also that the broadcast was not aired all over the world at all. but only in Japan, and now he knows for sure that Kira is here. The boy is terrified. From a symbol of justice, he himself has turned into a criminal wanted by Interpol. The investigation team consults with L. He analyzed the dates and times of the murders. They coincide with the free time and the schedules of students. So the investigators realize that Kira is a student and kills when he has no classes. The Yagami family is having dinner. Light starts a conversation with his father about the Kira investigation. He wants to join the group, as he has helped his father solve crimes before. His father is against it and won't let his son get involved in this dangerous case, because the murderer is a true devil. From now on, Light is always on the lookout. He is a criminal, and his father is investigating the case. The guy needs to take suspicion away from himself. Every day he looks through the police investigation reports in the database and knows the latest news. The detectives have realized that Kira is a student. Light is out on a walk with Ryuk when he discovers that he is being followed. An unknown man stalks him the entire day, all the way to his house. Upon his return, Light plans to kill another criminal mentioned in the news, to find out the name of the man who is following him. In the morning, Light and Shiori get on the bus to the university, and the spy hops on it as well. Light is blunt and straightforward. He turns to the man and asks him why he's following him, but the man acts confused. At the next stop, a suspicious man enters the bus. It's the perpetrator from the evening news. He puts a gun to the driver's head. Light takes a piece of paper out of his pocket and writes a message on it saying that he is going to disarm the criminal, and shows the message to the stalker. Light says he is the son of a policeman and can handle it. The boy is about to get up, but the man stops him. He doesn't want to put the teenager in danger. Light replies that he thinks he is the criminal's accomplice. The man gives in to the provocation and shows his ID. He is an FBI officer, Rei Iwamatsu. A note that Light has written falls to the floor and attracts the perpetrator's attention. He walks over and picks it up. This is a sheet from the death note. When the criminal takes it in his hands, he sees Ryuk in front of him. Terrified, the man starts shooting at the monster, but bullets do not wound the god of death, so the criminal wants to escape from danger. He asks the driver to stop the bus, jumps out of the open door, gets hit by a passing car, and dies on the spot. Light's plan worked perfectly. The criminal died exactly as he wrote in the notebook, and the investigator's name was also revealed. Rei Iwamatsu is worried about revealing his identity. He does his best to stay calm with his girlfriend, but the thought keeps bothering him. After all, Kira only needs to know a person's name and appearance to kill him. Naomi asks her fiancé to be more careful, as they are already planning a wedding. A meeting with the priest is scheduled for Saturday. Light is thinking about the FBI agent. He is afraid of being discovered. For the sake of his protection, he decides to go to extreme measures to develop a plan to find out the names of all agents involved in the case and kill them. Naomi is waiting for Rei at the priest's. He shows up and asks her to reschedule the meeting while he goes to the subway. The girl is surprised by her fiancé's behavior, so she decides to follow him. Rei gets on the train, takes a package from a shelf, opens it, pulls out a walkie-talkie and listens. Kira is talking to him. He proves it by killing the man next to him. Under fear of his own death and that of the passengers on the subway, the man agrees to carry out the perpetrator's instructions. Rei obtains information on all FBI agents and writes down their names on a prepared sheet, tucks them into an envelope, and leaves it at the next station, where he dies of a heart attack 3 seconds later. Naomi sees her loved one die. On her knees beside the body, she sobs in grief. Kira sees the whole scene and remembers the girl. The head of the investigation team, Light's father, holds a meeting and tells those present that all FBI agents are dead. He gives the opportunity to voluntarily leave the group to all of those who are not willing to risk their lives and the lives of their relatives, because the case is becoming extremely dangerous. Only 6 people and L stay. However, the group is not happy that L himself is hiding in a safe place, protecting his identity. L then orders his assistant, Watari, to bring them to him. The investigators arrive at the hotel. In the room where Watari takes them, the tables are littered with sweets, and they are greeted by a thin, barefooted guy with disheveled hair and pale skin. Watari gives them the sign that this is L, and the group is introduced to him. They get right to the point. L says that Kira could only have learned the names of the FBI agents from one of the agents themselves. This means that Kira is one of the people they have been following. The circle of suspects narrows considerably, and L gives the group a photo. It's Chief Yagami's family. Naomi, the bride of the murdered FBI agent, wants revenge on the killer and is running her own investigation in the meantime. The prime suspect is Light Yagami. In order to verify the involvement of Chief Yagami's family in the murders, his house must be bugged with listening devices and cameras. The man agrees to this in order to remove suspicion from his family. Naomi manages to find Shiori. She tells the girl that her fiancé, an FBI agent, was killed by Kira. Light, meanwhile, already knows from the police report that his house will be under surveillance for 7 days. So he plans ahead and writes down the future murders in the death note to divert suspicion from himself. Shiori leads Naomi to Light. The girl introduces herself as Maki and accuses the guy of killing her fiancé just before the wedding. Naomi also says that he will not kill her because she didn't give out her real name. She promises to hunt him down, prove his guilt, and put him behind bars. Light returns home. He realizes that someone has entered his room, which means that the bugs and cameras are already installed. Ryuk tries to talk to him and asks for an apple, the only thing the god of death eats. But Light ignores him, takes a portable TV and leaves the house to buy chips. Outside, he talks to Ryuk. Light has already figured out a way to get the investigator's suspicions off of him. To do so, he asks the god of death to find all the cameras so he can identify the blind spot. In return, when the surveillance is over, Ryuk gets apples. The Yagami family is having dinner without their father. He hasn't been home for days. Light leaves the table and takes a packet of bacon chips with him upstairs. He's the only one who eats them. He answers his sister's questions by saying that he plans to study all night and needs to keep his energy. On TV, a broadcast on the death of yet another criminal from a heart attack is aired. Meanwhile, Light is at his desk, studying and eating chips. Elle and the group have been watching him closely the whole time, but the guy hasn't done anything suspicious, so he can't be accused of the murder. The investigators remove the surveillance. Light has effortlessly fooled the detectives. On the way home from the store, he hid the portable TV, a sheet from the death note, and a pin in the pack of bacon chips that no one would take for sure, and the blind spot ended up right on the edge of his desk. So he watched the news and easily wrote the name of the new perpetrator in the death note. Naomi calls Elle. She's been working for him as an undercover FBI agent for a long time. On the phone, Naomi says that Yagami Light is Kira, and she is willing to prove it at a cost of her own life. Shiori, on the other hand, calls Light. The girl asks him to meet her in an art gallery. Her voice sounds strange, and he becomes suspicious. Shiori is not alone in the gallery. Naomi has taken her hostage and is holding her at gunpoint. The investigation team taps into the art gallery's cameras. Light appears in the lobby. Elle says he knew Yagami Light was Kira, and now they're about to witness the confirmation. Naomi threatens to kill Shiori unless Light confesses. The guy denies that he is the killer and asks Naomi to release the hostage. The distraught woman wants him to kill her right now, says her real name and waits to die, but nothing happens. Suddenly there is a howl of police sirens coming from the street. Shiori seizes this moment, breaks free from Naomi's grasp, and runs away. But Naomi manages to raise her gun and shoots the girl. Shiori falls to the ground with a fatal wound, and Naomi, realizing what she has done, panics and kills herself. Why would Light let his loved one be murdered and not write Naomi's name down on a piece of paper, even though he had had a pen with him? Well, Light had already written it down beforehand. He remembered Naomi at the subway station where Ray died, and decided to kill her as soon as the girl started investigating him. At the church, the guy found out her real name because Naomi herself had said that she and Ray were going to get married. Light's father arrives at the gallery to send his son home. The boy sits on the steps with Ryuk. The god of death is astonished that Light has allowed his girlfriend to be killed. He has his answer. For the sake of diverting suspicion from himself, he sacrificed Shiori and wrote the script of her death too.
Light, お前は死神以上に
Now, Light must pull off the last step of his plan, and he asks his father to allow him to participate in the investigation to avenge Shiori. Before his father can answer, Elle, who shows up at the gallery, agrees. He's holding a pack of bacon potato chips. As always, you'll find the title of the movie in the video description. In the meantime, let us know in the comments. Do you think Elle has a chance to solve the case? Does he already know everything? Or did the detective happen to bring bacon potato chips there by chance? Don't forget to like the video and don't miss out on the next awesome retelling.